What if the supplements you've been told are safe, maybe even essential after 60, were actually accelerating brain aging, killing off brain cells slowly, quietly, without you even noticing until it's too late? And what if the real threat wasn't the obvious stuff, like sugary snacks or too much screen time, but those little pills in your bathroom cabinet? The ones you take just in case? Could your memory lapses, your foggy thinking, your sudden irritability actually be connected to something you believed was helping you? Could the supplement you bought to protect your heart be hurting your brain? And why is almost no one talking about this? That's exactly what we're going to reveal right now. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next, especially if you or someone you love is over 60. Let's dig in. Let's be honest. Nobody wakes up one day and decides to destroy their brain. No one stands in the vitamin aisle thinking, I wonder which supplement will give me early dementia. That's absurd. But the scary truth is, it doesn't have to be intentional. All it takes is one small daily dose of the wrong thing. Over time, silently, it chips away at your most precious resource, your brain. Here's where things get unsettling, because some of the very supplements that are marketed as brain boosters, mood stabilizers, or anti-aging miracles are now being quietly linked in emerging research to something called neurotoxicity, which simply means they can harm your neurons, your brain cells, and after 60, your neurons are already more vulnerable. That natural resilience you had in your 20s, it's fading, and the margin for error is shrinking every year. But why? What changes in the brain after 60 that makes these supplements potentially dangerous? The answer is surprisingly simple. After 60, your brain's protective barriers, the blood-brain barrier, antioxidant defenses, even basic mitochondrial function, all begin to decline. It becomes easier for harmful substances to sneak in and harder for your brain to repair itself after damage. So something that might be tolerable at 30 can become toxic at 65, even low doses, even from natural sources. That's the trap, the illusion of safety. Let's take a look at a popular supplement that most people over 60 either take or have seriously considered: calcium. Sounds innocent enough, right? Essential for bone health, especially in postmenopausal women. Doctors recommend it. Pharmacies promote it. But here's what you might not know. Too much calcium, especially when taken in isolated supplement form, can accumulate in places it shouldn't, like your arteries or your brain. In fact, excess calcium in the brain has been associated with something called calcification, and it's not a small issue. Brain calcification is linked to impaired cognition, memory problems, and yes, accelerated neurodegeneration. Studies published in peer-reviewed medical journals have found that excess calcium can actually trigger the death of neurons by exciting them too much, a process known as excitotoxicity. Think of it like your brain cells getting overstimulated to the point of burning out. And it gets worse. When calcium levels spike, they can interact with something called glutamate, an excitatory neurotransmitter that's involved in learning and memory. But in excess, glutamate is toxic. And guess what? Older brains have a harder time clearing it out. So combine high calcium intake with age-related slowdown in glutamate processing, and you've just created a perfect storm for brain cell burnout. But wait, why aren't doctors warning everyone over 60 to stop taking calcium supplements? The answer lies in a kind of medical inertia. For decades, the focus was on preventing osteoporosis, not protecting neurons. And in fairness, calcium is vital, but the devil is in the dose, the delivery method, and the context. Getting calcium from leafy greens or fermented dairy is one thing. Taking 1,000 milligrams a day in isolated pill form, especially without the balancing, presence of magnesium, vitamin K2, and D3, is a completely different story. So if you're over 60 and you're taking calcium every day, pause. Ask yourself, am I also getting enough magnesium? Am I supporting my brain's detox pathways? Or am I blindly following old advice that might not serve me anymore? Now, take a deep breath, because this next supplement might surprise you even more. It's one that's often recommended for energy, for mood, even for memory. It's supposed to support brain function, but in reality, it might be doing the opposite. I'm talking about synthetic B6. Now, don't get me wrong. Vitamin B6 is essential for a healthy brain. It's involved in the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. It plays a critical role in cognitive function. But here's where things get tricky. The most common form of B6 in supplements is called pyridoxine hydrochloride, and in large or prolonged doses, especially in older adults, it can build up in the system. And what happens then? Neuropathy, numbness, tingling in the hands and feet. But more importantly, neurotoxicity. Studies have shown that excessive intake of synthetic B6 can actually damage peripheral nerves. And the brain? It's not immune. In fact, older adults are more susceptible to B6-related nerve damage because the liver and kidneys, key organs for processing and clearing excess vitamins, tend to function less efficiently with age. So even if the dose seems safe on a paper, the way your body handles it could be very different at 65 than it was at 35. And it's not just about what you take, it's about how often. Some multivitamins for seniors contain high doses of B6. Add a B complex on top of that. Maybe an energy drink fortified with more B6. It adds up fast. And the scariest part? You won't feel it right away. The damage is cumulative, quiet, and often, by the time you notice the symptoms, like brain fog, balance issues, or numbness, the neurons are already gone. Now ask yourself this: have you ever felt more tired or more confused despite taking your brain-boosting vitamins? Could it be that they're doing the exact opposite of what they promise? And that brings us to one of the most widely misunderstood supplements of all: iron. Yes, iron is essential. It helps carry oxygen in your blood. It supports energy levels. But after 60, something shifts, especially in men and postmenopausal women who no longer lose iron through menstruation. The body starts accumulating it, and too much iron, particularly when it's stored in the brain, becomes a serious threat. It's called iron-induced oxidative stress. Think of it like rust, but in your brain. Iron reacts with oxygen to produce free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage DNA, membranes, and yes, neurons. And recent research has shown that excessive iron accumulation in the brain is a hallmark of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So if you're taking iron supplements just to be safe, stop. Check your levels. First, iron supplementation should never be done without testing, especially after 60, because your body may be storing it, not using it. And here's the kicker: the early symptoms of iron overload often mimic common aging complaints: fatigue, memory slips, mood swings. But the underlying cause might not be aging at all. It could be oxidative stress fueled by too much iron. Let that sink in for a second. How many people do you know who are struggling with those symptoms right now? And how many are taking supplements that could be making it worse? There's a silent pattern here. Well-intentioned people taking well-marketed products based on outdated advice, damaging their most important organ, their brain. And we're only getting started. There are more common supplements we need to talk about, ones that almost everyone assumes are safe. But if you're over 60, they could be quietly harming your cognitive function every single day. If you're over 50 and your joints ache when you get out of bed, go upstairs or just try to enjoy a walk. It's not your age, and it's not your fault. The real issue? Your body's running out of a natural substance that cushions your joints like a shock absorber. And most supplements out there, glucosamine, collagen, all of it, don't fix this. But now, researchers have discovered a breakthrough that can actually restore what your joints are missing. And people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s are seeing real relief. If you're feeling stiff, sore, or weaker lately, stop guessing. Check the link in the pinned comment now. So let's keep going, because the next one on our list might be sitting on your kitchen counter right now. Maybe you even took it this morning, convinced it's one of the healthiest habits you've adopted in years. I'm talking about fish oil. Yes, fish oil, the supplement that's praised everywhere for brain health, heart health, and inflammation support. It's even labeled a must-have in many aging and longevity protocols. But what if I told you that fish oil in certain cases, especially after 60, might actually accelerate brain aging instead of protecting it? Here's what you need to understand. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA, are critical for brain health. That's not in dispute. They reduce inflammation, support cell membrane integrity, and improve neurotransmitter signaling. but that's when you get them from fresh, unoxidized sources. That's when the balance between omega-3 and omega-6 fats is controlled. That's when the doses are appropriate for your body. Now, the fish oil in many store-bought supplements, that's a different story. Most commercial fish oils are already oxidized by the time you take them. That means the delicate fats inside have gone rancid, just like cooking oil left out too long in the sun. And here's what happens when you put rancid oil into your body. You feed your brain and nervous system oxidized lipids, which contribute to oxidative stress, a major driver of brain cell death and inflammation. Even worse, many of these supplements are packaged in transparent bottles, stored on warm shelves under store lighting, and shipped without temperature control. So even if the label says pure, the actual contents may be doing the exact opposite of what you think. And guess what? Older adults are more sensitive to oxidative stress. After 60, your antioxidant defenses drop. Your ability to neutralize free radicals weakens. So when you introduce rancid omega-3s into your body, your brain may not have the resources to protect itself. And here's the kicker. There's no way to smell it, no way to see it, and no way to know just by looking. You could be taking a brain toxin, thinking you're protecting your mind from dementia. That Softgel capsule could be a wolf in sheep's clothing. So what do? Stop fish oil? Not necessarily. But you need to demand quality. Look for supplements that are third-party tested for oxidation. Make sure they're packaged in dark glass bottles, stored cold, and ideally contain added antioxidants like vitamin E to protect the fragile fats. Better yet, get your omega-3s from whole food sources, wild-caught salmon, sardines, anchovies. Because when nutrients come with their natural cofactors, your body knows exactly how to use them. Let's move to another one. And this might be the most ironically dangerous supplement for aging brains. Antacids and acid-blocking supplements, especially those marketed to soothe digestion in seniors. You've seen them. Calcium carbonate tablets, proton pump inhibitors, chewable tablets you keep by your bedside, just in case. These are not marketed as brain supplements, of course, but their effect on the brain is undeniable. Here's why. When you chronically reduce stomach acid, your body's ability to absorb vital nutrients drops significantly. And what are two of the most critical nutrients for maintaining brain health after 60? Vitamin B12 and magnesium. Now let's take a look at B12. This vitamin is essential for maintaining the protective coating around your nerves, your myelin sheath. When B12 is deficient, that coating breaks down, and electrical signals in your brain slow. Cognitive decline speeds up. And the problem? B12 absorption depends on stomach acid. No acid, no absorption. That means long-term use of antacids or acid blockers, especially in older adults, creates a perfect storm for silent, creeping B12 deficiency. Now pair that with magnesium, another nutrient that is commonly deficient in the population over 60. Magnesium plays a direct role in over 300 enzymatic processes, including nerve transmission, synaptic plasticity, and even memory formation. And guess what else needs stomach acid to be absorbed efficiently? Magnesium. So think about this. If you're over 60 and you've been popping those harmless little tablets after meals, you might be slowly starving your brain of essential nutrients. Not overnight, not in a dramatic way, but slowly, subtly, and steadily, like erosion. And here's the thing, you don't need to be on prescription acid blockers for this to happen. Even over-the-counter chewables taken daily can blunt stomach acid enough to interfere with nutrient absorption, and that damage accumulates over time. Still with me? Because now we're heading into murkier waters. Supplements that are natural, plant-based, and marketed as cognitive enhancers. Ones that make big promises with very little scientific backing for older brains, like ginkgo biloba. Now don't get me wrong, ginkgo has been studied. Some research has suggested mild cognitive benefits, but here's the critical detail. Those studies were often done on specific extracts, using pharmaceutical-grade compounds at very specific doses. Not the stuff most people buy off the shelf. Most ginkgo supplements available in stores vary wildly in quality. Some are mixed with fillers. Some don't contain the promised dosage. Some contain compounds that can thin the blood. And for older adults, especially those on medications like blood thinners or aspirin, this can be incredibly risky. Internal bleeding, dizziness, and even strokes have been linked to poorly regulated herbal supplements. But perhaps most concerning is this. Ginkgo can affect neurotransmitter levels. That's part of why it's used. But when combined with other medications, or taken in excess, it can create imbalances in brain chemistry, and older brains are less capable of rebalancing those neurotransmitters quickly. Think of it like a delicate symphony. Add one more violin too loud and the whole thing sounds off. Ginkgo isn't always bad, but it's far from universally safe, especially when it's self-prescribed, unregulated, and combined with other substances. And now, we reach the 8th and final supplement in our list, the one that's been exploding in popularity lately, marketed as an energy booster, a mood lifter, even an adaptogen for stress relief. It's sold in powders, capsules, smoothies, and coffee blends. I'm talking about ashwagandha. Sounds exotic, feels trendy, but here's the part most people don't know. Ashwagandha has powerful effects on the endocrine system. It interacts with your thyroid, your cortisol, and your dopamine. And while that might sound great, balance stress, enhance mood, the reality is that after 60, your hormonal system is more fragile, and even small shifts can create chaos. For some people, ashwagandha helps them feel calm and focused. For others, it creates anxiety, restlessness, or even depressive symptoms. And in rare cases, it can cause hyperthyroid-like symptoms, racing heart, insomnia, agitation. But you won't see that on the label. You won't see, may interfere with neurotransmitter balance in elderly brains. But it happens. And here's the thing. If your body is already in a delicate balance, throwing in a wild card like ashwagandha without clear medical guidance can destabilize things quickly, especially if you're already on thyroid meds, antidepressants, or blood pressure. Meds, common among adults over 60. So what's the message here? Not that supplements are bad, but that they're not universally good. Not that you should fear every capsule, but that you should ask better questions before swallowing them. Because the truth is, your brain isn't replaceable. You can't pop a pill and grow a new one. You can't reverse years of damage in a week, and you definitely can't afford to be gambling with your cognition just because the label says natural or clinically proven. So before you take your next supplement, pause. Ask, do I really need this? Have I tested for deficiency? Has my doctor, one who knows my history, actually recommended it? Or am I following hype, habit, or hearsay? Because when it comes to your brain, especially after 60, clarity is not optional, it's everything. And if this video made you think twice about even one of the supplements in your cabinet, then it's already done its job. But don't stop here. There's another video on screen right now that'll show you exactly what to eat every day to naturally protect your brain and extend its power long into your later years. Go watch it now. It might just save your mind.